Platinum miner Royal Bafokeng's full-year headline earnings per share slipped 12.5% to 167 cents, and that after it increased the number of shares in issue as part of its listing in Johannesburg. Standing by from the JSE to take us through the financial period that was is the company's CEO, Steve Phiri. Thanks so much, Steve, for joining us this afternoon. Well, let's get straight into it. As I said, that headline earnings per share number declining 12.5%, but distorting the picture a little bit is the fact that we've got share dilution to consider here. So take us through the year that was for the company, and if we're looking beyond just this headline number.
The year that was, 2011, was not an easy year at all, and that has been evidenced by the results of many companies similar to ours operating in the same environment, characterized by quite a number of safety stoppages, and specifically to us, it was also exacerbated by a tear of the belt, conveyor belt at our north shaft. And as if that was not enough, there was a strike from the contractor workers, which took off 10 days, 10 working days. So that affected the volumes, and when you cannot produce the volumes, the fixed costs remain there and you still have to pay them. And when you resume your operations, you've got to put more overtime, more people into the spanner in order to recover your lost production. So under general, we do believe that the results could have been better, but they are not the worst that should have been in the circumstances. And I'm not excited. I'm excited, no, but I'm not overly concerned. And we're looking forward to 2012. We are pretty much confident that things should be improving. We do think that we have got a handle on safety issues. We have got a relationship that we developed with DMR to understand what the inspectorate requires. The working relationship should bear fruit in order to understand and avoid the unnecessary Section 54 stoppages.
Of course, that production slippage that we saw, with production declining 4.2%, taking you away from being able to leverage fully off the platinum price as it trades right now. How has it actually impacted targets set in terms of production for the year ahead, Steve?
You mean the safety stoppages?
Yes, and just, given what played out in the year that was, with production falling back 4.2%, have you needed to revise your production targets for the year ahead?
Well, we have revised our production targets, and we have factored the possible Section 54s and any other unforeseen circumstances, but certainly we do not set out to produce less than we produced in 2011, and our focus is to achieve 2.5 million tons.
There's a lot of reliance on the Styldrift 1 project in South Africa. That's set to take off in 2014, and it's expected to more than double the group's platinum production to 610,000 ounces a year by 2017. Run us through the kind of progress we're seeing on that front, Steve.
We're progressing quite well in Styldrift, and we are on schedule, just a month behind schedule, and as a result of the delay in shifting from pre-sink to full sink, but also the slow turnaround time in terms of blasting cycle. We are on top of things now. We are 300, just slightly more than 300 meters deep. We have declared a saving of 233 million rands, and we're looking again on we're targeting to save 1 billion rand of the 11.8 budgeted amount for the project. So we are really on track, and Styldrift is an exciting project for us.
So some savings coming through there. Nevertheless, we've had cash operating cost per platinum ounce rising 8.7%. So you're not managing to escape that cost factor entirely. How are you mitigating against that challenge, or planning to, moving into 2012?
Again, as I said, if you don't produce volumes, your fixed costs remain. And in an industry, in an operation where 60% of your costs are fixed costs, you are bound to have to experience that increase. So we need to address that by increasing the volumes. We need to address that by looking at the cost centers, various cost centers, in order to mitigate the increase in costs and at least reduce the cost, even if it's marginally. That will give more confidence that we can do it. And cost reduction remains our focus area for 2012.
Where it's such a focus being placed on increasing volume specifically, run us through some of the challenges that you foresee in ramping up production this year.
Well, foreseen challenges, if I may put it that way, no foreseen challenges. Our IMA And also our stoppable reserves are improving. That provides flexibility. We've opened up more EG2 areas in order to augment the lost production, if any, that we may experience. And you would have seen we have increased our UG2 production. That helped quite a lot when we experienced difficulties in our Merensky Reef. So we do think that we have put in place measures in order that we should be able to optimize volumes in order to reduce the cost.
We are still looking at a balance sheet that's ungeared here. Run us through your capex plans for this year and where that's standing given the current operating environment.
Well, our capex plan obviously divided into stay in business capital as well as replacement capital and growth capital, which is still left. And our operating capex is, that is our stay in business. It's about 8% of our operating capital. With regard to still left, the phase 2 of BRPM, the existing mine, it's nearing conclusion. There is a handing over process. We are ledging and equipping it now. By the end of this year, beginning of next year, we should be seeing Stairlift 3 also nearing completion, also starting to equip it. And the capital expenditure there is set at about between 300 and 400 billion for this year, running to 2013. And with regard to Stairlift 1, we're looking at spending just slightly above 1.2 billion.
Overall, as a player in the industry, Steve, run us through your perspective on the demand scenario that the platinum industry is actually catering to at this stage of the game, because we've got a context right now where, global economic growth is standing on pretty shaky and tentative ground.
Absolutely. As particularly the Eurozone, which is the biggest consumer of platinum, because of their automotive industry consuming platinum in the diesel auto catalysts. And we rely on Eurozone to improve the world, not only in the platinum sector, but generally speaking, the macroeconomic picture can only improve if Eurozone improves. And therefore, on the demand side, we see the demand on platinum remaining quite depressed during the course of 2012. However, we call the prices at flat going forward, although on the palladium side, that's where the biggest demand and increase on prices will come from, particularly with the improvement of the economy of America. China still attributing quite a lot on the consumption side of palladium in their auto catalysts. But having said that, the prices are improving and they are soothing as we see them coming through. We, at the moment, don't know exactly what causes the price surge that we have seen in the past 2 weeks. Is it as a result of the difficulties in the platinum sector on the production side, or is it as a result of a strike that we're seeing at Impala? We still have to put our finger on it, but we're not unhappy with the prices that we're seeing currently.